These nightmares, you would get stuck in them. You'd know it was a dream, but you couldn't wake yourself up. And, any loud noise, I had to sit with my back against the wall everywhere I went, and I just became extremely paranoid. In Iraq, that was fine because that was how you survived. But back home, you have to kind of take over that feeling, and it was hard for me to do. And so I tried to get help from a counselor, and the counselor ended up downplaying what I was telling her. She didn't think it was that big of a deal, and she actually at one point thought I was lying about what I was saying.
Really?
Yes. And she, I guess it's because she heard worse. And so she thought, why would this affect him when this other story affected this soldier? And that was a real story, or I don't know the way she was thinking.
So how did her disbelief in your story affect how you were feeling?
That was really hard because it took me 6 months until I finally decided to get help. And as soon as I went to get help, the one person I was trying to trust with everything I was saying broke that trust. And so I felt like, well, if I can't trust my psychologist, who am I going to trust? And before that actually happened, I was pulled out in front of my formation by my first sergeant, and she called me out because they gave me a piece of paper that said I can't have a weapon or I can't go to a firing range because I wasn't comfortable with it. And so my first sergeant pulled me out in front of my formation and called me out in front of everybody. And told everybody about my mental issues, and that stuff's supposed to be private. So I just felt embarrassed by that. So after that, I just stopped talking about it, and I just pushed it down. And then a couple months later, in November of 2010, I finally just decided I was done. And I was tired of pushing it down, and I was tired of not being able to talk about it and open up about it and feeling ashamed for feeling the way I did. So I go into my kitchen and find 4 bottles of pills, chug them down, and then next thing I know, I wake up and I'm in the hospital the next morning.
The war that we're fighting now is here. It's in our minds. And it's a war we cannot fight alone. We have to have allies or other veterans to be able to win this fight. And unfortunately, the casualties are mounting every day. The one thing, the most important thing that we can do that will save a vet's life who is in crisis is another vet.
So what I do now is I go around and I talk about my suicide and what it was like to in that moment and what I was thinking, and I speak to family members and I help them understand ways to better support their soldier. I help them get through certain situations, and my goal is to go and travel around the nation and speak to everybody and get my message out there that it's okay to feel the way that they feel and help them work through it along with their families, because their families are important. That is their support group. That is who we depend on as veterans. And I need your help to get the message out.